First of all, he slapped me for not having more in my wallet. We stopped by somewhere. So he asked me to give him a blowjob. And I did it because I just felt like,
Okay,
maybe
let's
this
do
is,
that.
and let me go, because my greatest fear was let them not rape me in this car because I've heard so many stories.
Okay, so Femi, I've listened to Ini and I'm shocked that I don't have tissue here yet because when she first started saying that 2014, the first two lines triggered and I remember reading about that, and I think he also went on an interview with Oscar or something. And it's strange that I didn't even realize you're the person sitting in front of me. Now, listening to everything that she has said, I understand where she's coming from because at some point in time, every one of us has gone through abuse, not to the same level that you have been through, not at that level. I'm not even going to. No, I'm not even going to. I'm not even going to try and claim that what I might have gone through in my childhood can match that. And I couldn't even share it with my husband. Now I'm trying to imagine you trying to chase him away, telling him, thinking that I'm not good enough, and I don't think you should be with me.
So let me
tell you so that you can go, and he stays. Femi, what was he now proposes, he marries. Let us pray. Like, are you human?
Yes, I am. Flesh and blood flow in my veins.
So this is, I mean, we're talking about coming into a relationship with baggage. This is a lot of baggage.
This is plenty.
And how did you get through that? Actually, she's told us how she was able to get to where she is to a large extent.
Back in the day, she used to call me Mr. Goody Goody.
Bishop.
Because I think, obviously, with what I do, I'm supposed to have like epic stories, different things. And I found myself in situations where things like that should have occurred. But I think from when I was like 15, 16, that I've been in environments like that, I've actually just by myself set myself apart. First of all, I'm the firstborn.
Okay.
So your parents, you are the trial and error child. You can either get it wrong or get it right. My parents got it right. So I was always hearing their voices. Two of them, in my ear, everywhere. So I couldn't really indulge in a lot of things, smoking, drinking, alcohol.
Remember whose child you are.
Yeah.
And also I knew exactly where I was coming from. It was not, they tried, and kudos. I'm a parent now, so I get it. Kudos to my parents for, oh my God, survival every day. So I don't want to disappoint them. And already, my dad already had fears. Especially music, you want to be a musician. That means you are exposed to it. They see it everywhere now. And then you're a 15, 16, 17-year-old boy traveling all across Nigeria. Saying you're playing guitar, you're playing keyboard, you're playing drums and all this. Like,
you see why I was like, can this guy just leave me? See how good he is. Like, I hear the reasons for him setting himself apart.
So I was like, no,
wow, does he have 10 heads?
I'm not going to indulge. But the thing was, by the time I knew she was trying to tell me to let
go.
Me go. So I saw.
You saw through it.
Yeah, I saw through it. But I already made up my mind that this was going to be my wife.
Wow.
Even before God told me that this is your wife, I already made up my mind. And yes, it was a lot. But then I think more than anything was just compassion. I was like, oh my God, this is what you've gone through. I didn't see it from the perspective of, oh, I'm blaming you for indulging, for doing all these things. I'm like, man, it's crazy that you are too, which is why, I wanted to pray with her because it was just, Jesus was very compassionate, you understand? So, and I'm like, okay, let me just do that. And also another thing I told her, just before we started dating, I know they come here to do boyfriend and girlfriend. If we date, better.
If we date, better.
If you
why should they answer you?
Now why she tell you she can't check the
mistakes?
Let me fall in love.
All this one that she was saying, I don't love you, I let you kill him. No, don't tell me suck it. I need you are my wife. Also, I love you. But be loved, Jack.
Are you joking?
So I was like, no, you're my wife, and that's it. So I knew that we're going to go on a journey of healing.
Yeah.
And when we started dating, you couldn't say the word rape. Yeah. It was that bad. It was, no matter how bad you
Still
think it
very
is,
fresh. Yeah.
times 5 of that is what was occurring. She would just sometimes get into her head, and she's just, yeah. So that thing about patience. It was this situation that I learned. I've always been a patient person. I've always been a cool person, But with her, it had to be like an extra layer of compassion and just being nice. So pour it on me, I'll take it. And I was taking it because I knew that she needed to pour it somewhere. Yeah. She needed to be angry somewhere. And somebody had to be there. So until we got to. In fact, the first time she spoke about it, it wasn't just family that was around. I was there. Imagine this story. Saying it for the first time in her life. It was a church. All of us sat down. In fact, it was a group hug after she finished because it was tears everywhere. I was there. And every time after that, and after that, and after that, I was just like, oh, this is my life now. This is, and obviously, life went on, and, eventually she got to a place where I would say decent way that she loved me, and to her, she was like, I should be showing more to you because I feel like you deserve more, but I'm still not there, but I'm getting there and everything. If not, I would have married her earlier,
You needed her to come to terms with it.
So, actually, I wrote it down. We're supposed to get married 2017, right? But first of all, I needed to get my own life together because 2016 was when I moved out. I was trying to get my own place, and the only counsel I needed was from her. Oh, do you like this apartment? She said yes. I don't really care about any other person. Pay for it. I'm moving. Do you understand? And then, there was a day we were together in the apartment. It was just one room. That's what I'm calling apartment. It was one room.
It was really cute.
That's what she
Like,
said.
they had a carpet on the floor, and then we had one fridge, there was a little kitchen. It was nice.
This woman, she always say this, but I'm looking at it from the perspective of your father. Your father will not go and see you.
You say you took my daughter.
Do you understand? So I'm like, no. I will have to.
And then there was a well downstairs.
Wow.
It was quaint.
It was
quaint.
nice.
You know what they say? All this real estate, luxurious apartment.
Lagos,
God judge all of you people. So I'm like, no, I have to
Get her
do
out
something.
of here.
I have to get at least a 2-bedroom house, before my, and I did that. I didn't have any TV. I didn't have anything. I had a car, but then no TV, just a mattress on the floor. Nothing. I didn't have anything to my name. But I realized that I had her, and so I was like, yeah, let's keep going. And then she was getting into it. She was seeing me, but I also realized that we needed to, if we're going to build a life together, we needed to work on certain things when we're dating, so that when we get married,
it won't come.
Because remember we spoke about the number of children we're going to have, because these are the issues. Finances. That one I was very, very open and honest because I was broke. So
there's nothing to.
No, nothing to hide.
You low. We need 2,000, but 1,500. I'll take 500. You understand? So
literally, that's how.
yeah, that was like, I'm saying, like, that was what it
And
was.
it was different for me. Very.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So I was like, this was what my life was going to be, and and obviously I'm a man that has vision, and I was going to power through it. I was going to do what I needed to do, but I needed this woman by my side because I felt like my story was going to be beautiful.
Just because
I knew we were going to have children. I didn't know how many, and I didn't know how precious they were going to be, but I just knew that it had to start with the two of us. So from that one bedroom, I would tell you, was what you are seeing today. This is where it started from, So I would have said, okay, yeah, your baggage is too plentiful
for me.
and then I go elsewhere. She'll marry somebody else, probably be living like beautiful life, and I'll marry someone else. I'll probably be living my life. But there's a beautiful story here that God has already ordained, and I felt like it was even beyond me. God showed me part of the vision, and I could see it because I remember the day I was in front of church when God told me, "This is your wife," and I'm like, all these paparazzi that she has told me, I'm a trash here, because you are a new person now, and I can't, and even for me, for my mental health, I can't be looking at her and be seeing the things that she has done. And it was, at the point, it was very difficult for her because one of the guys that she was with actually became our neighbor when we got married.
I see.
What kind of trauma would that have been?
2 years before we moved out. In fact, she was pregnant. A month before we had our first baby was when we moved out. So the guy was my neighbor.
Wow.
And he knew that I knew. And I knew
See,
that.
this thing, that particular scenario is what I like to call the consequences of sin. Because, you will do something, God will forgive you. The truth is, you are forgiven, but you deal with the consequences.
Yes.
So I remember when Femi was moving into the apartment, he said, "You'll not believe who I just saw." I said, "Who?" And he told me I was weak. I went for my friend's introduction. Just sat down on step.
And I didn't. I wasn't telling her
As
like.
can you imagine?
See
See
what
your life
happened
now.
Oh.
I was telling her as gist. Can you imagine?
So let me tell you
this guy is
something. In that moment when he told me, the gravity of what was happening dawned on me, because Femi is moving into this apartment. It's not that he's moving. This is going to be where we're going to get married and live.
And he
To
parks
me,
in
is
front
that
of our
this person is going
apartment.
to. So it was.
And he enters his car every morning.
It was it was crazy, man.
So imagine if I was looking at her
A
through
certain
that.
way.
Yeah.
Just even him being there.
Or she didn't
Would be
tell
a
you.
problem.
Or she didn't tell me.
you.
Do you
Maybe she
understand?
didn't tell you the full number of people or something.
No, she told me to the last.
That's what I'm saying. What if she did it?
So I knew exactly what he represented and who he was. And honestly, a lot of men cannot take it, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But this is a different case. This is going to be my wife.
Yeah.
Like, this is my wife.
You know what I learned from Femi? I learned from Femi, I was telling my brother one day, I said, for someone who thought he didn't have self-esteem, or even, maybe, fine, he has self-esteem issues. Femi is so secure in himself as a man.
I was
going to say, I don't see the self-esteem thing. Like,
No, I can understand this self-esteem in terms of how he deals with people or the career, but to be strong is about who you are
yourself.
And that's, when I discovered that about Femi, is what I really wanted him to see. In fact, when he would tell me of stories and scenarios of things that were happening, what I really harped on to let him know is that you are such a strong person, strong in mind, strong in will, strong in in everything, that these people who even talk and say things, they don't have up to
half of
what you have. I always tell him that he's 10 men in one. I always say it's like, it's not, I was like, you don't understand it. Femi is so secure in himself as a man, and I learned that from him, because to be honest, even me as a woman, am I that secure in myself?
She told me that if I was a man, I would not date me. So I don't understand what you're doing. Part of the tactics that she was using in that time. So,
I'm not saying her tactics.
So
I'm
let's
just telling you.
chase me away now. Well, yeah. The reason why I'm saying tactics is because she now got to the wit ends of herself. And there was a time and then she told me that I was not a man. That was where now it's so beautiful that you guys are talking about me being secure in myself, because I just let her.
Femi, I don't
I just let her be like,
when you put
no. And I can't say go.
I'll
beg you now.
I'm so sorry.
When I go, I use feel I'll kneel down. I know that it's still from the past. You just have to beg.
And I said he's so jolly, but also I knew that a little sorry, and which is actually what even works till now. Like, I don't care what she has done and how she has wronged me. All she needs to do is apologize. It's so safe. No matter how much you think that I'm angry, just a touch. That is how I want to believe what I've created with my wife. I would tell you that I really say no to her. Oh, this person wants to come to the house, no problem. Have I really ever said no? I don't.
A few times.
Just a few.
The person that collected
Just like I was like, no problem. Are you comfortable with it? Is he okay with you?
Yeah.
Because it's fine. Like, I see it, if you're going to be happy with it, then that's okay. Because also another thing that I learned going into marriage is, you have to build each other. The Ini Abasi that you're seeing today was not the same person 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And I give glory to God, but I will also give a little bit of glory to myself. Because what your wife becomes eventually is on
a
you.
reflection of you.
Yeah.
Even her sharing the story, we had a conversation about it. This is what God told me to do. I cannot go ahead if you don't say yes.
Yeah.
So we are sharing stories, because for you guys to see, going on my page, it's just music. I don't really...
you won't post anything,
If it was left to me, if Ini was not this kind of person, nobody would even know that I'm married.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But I realized that, okay, I think this is a ministry thing. And I've watched my wife, Murph. We got married 2018. From 2016 till now, I've seen her become different things. From being an OAP on radio to being an artist, painting, which she still is, to coming into herself as a mental health therapist and a sex therapist. I've seen, and
watched
it was
her
because
She
at
has
every
support.
stage you are coming. This is what I want to do. Oh yeah,
I'm
go and do
behind
it.
you.
How do I help? Because honestly, it shows well on me as my character as a man that I'm allowing because a lot of men
Will
just
not
stay in
leave
the house.
I actually want us to now, because
You've-
you've shared a lot and you have the nuggets, all the nuggets and all the, but I don't know if this is the time, but I'm looking for if there's a way that you can condense these things into like actionables. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but so I wanted to also find out when she heard you in the driveway, when she was saying that she was hiding her phone from you, and that she's like, okay, you know what, I have to tell him.
Yeah.
And you got into the house.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was not what you were expecting to meet when you get into
You're coming from
practice. And
Yeah,
this is
I
what
know
you
we had
meet.
this is like a dragon that you believe that
You had slayed and
Yeah.
gotten
and
rid
then
of.
she now comes. Like how was that for you? How were you able to deal
Let
with
me
it?
tell
with
you, the only way to deal with things like this is always deal with compassion. What if the script was flipped? How we should deal with it? Do you understand? But now that it's
or how
her,
would I
that it
want
all
to
I
deal
will
with
deal
it?
with it. Do you understand? Will it be a safe space for her to think that I can always come to you with stuff like this because we are married, and I know that you not judge me. Do you understand? So the way I see it is, if it's your problem, always our problem. So you attack the problem. It's not the person. And
That's key.
every day I try to strive for that because I've seen her being compassionate with me also. And she's so gracious with it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Obviously, we are married, so everybody knows that the husband usually annoys the wife a lot. As in, thank him every year. Do you understand? She, and even when she speaks, and even when she's annoyed, you still see this is coming from a good place because I want you to be better.
Yeah.
So it's the same way.
Yeah.
And I feel like you set the precedence for what your marriage is going to become from the man.
Yeah.
The success and failure of your marriage actually starts from you, because you are the head. Certain things are expected of you. But then when she did tell me, I was just very, very compassionate. Do you understand? Like I realized that
You're not upset at all?
No, I wasn't upset.
irritated at
I
all?
was not.
You didn't feel
Do you understand?
stressed at all?
It's still the way I see my wife till this day. Is I just separate the issue from the person. So, like, this is what helps me, and I'm sure my wife is hearing for the first time. When we are angry at each other and we are like, it won't take me a long time. Yes, you might just give me my moments. Let me just go and sit down somewhere. But as I'm sitting down, just know that I'm separating. Because things are separate.
You attack.
but
You attack the
recently-
two.
recently you want- you wanted to- I read.
But I still do. So
It's just
I
that.
it's
just
just
that.
That's there's one happen.
Just that.
I'm sitting down, I'm just my love get you alone sitting. Because in the beginning it used to really bust my head. I'm the firstborn in my family. If anything occurs in my house, my dad comes to me for counsel. So Tani Sali. Talk about my mama sorry anyhow.
The Yoruba man is proud. Proud Yoruba man.
What she said it from the beginning that is proud. What can Fadi
And then you now have to start swallowing it. Like,
What can
and then you cannot now really go with this thing and just go and tell your father and your mother, Cherry, sorry. Don't come sorry. You have to swallow your pride and know that, okay, at the end of the day, it's for, and I've seen it like,
work?
Because if she's not speaking, problem one,
Yeah.
there's issue in the marriage.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you an example. Was it last night? So, we work hard, but I sometimes take it to the extreme. And because it's not that I'm trying to prove anything.
What was it?
But then, my wife sent me a worded WhatsApp message telling me that what I'm doing, that nosedive plane that she's talking about, this was last night too. You are doing it. It's going to affect you physically, spiritually. You start snapping at your children. And it's true. Because even before we came here, I actually dealt with one of my children. And she was like,
let's just say, I don't know, we are consciously made up of this door.
because I'm like, I'm like, Can you go from Papai? And she had to separate. I had to go downstairs and just go and woof her for a couple of seconds. I just leave this
Even
boy.
those seconds do not work because
You
you
know,
want to collect
But then
You
I'm
want
like,
to collect,
now
but it's fine.
like when she sent me a message, I knew what was coming. I knew that it's for me. It's for me. And when you love someone so deep, this is not, marriage, love, how will I put it now? Evolves.
There's butterflies.
You
in
see
the
that
tummy
butterfly
at the
beginning love.
then they'll flit the
and then-
butterfly. Then
honestly-
the caterpillar fleets it.
honestly,
Life will help you flit the butterfly.
nonsense love, Neil. That's not love.
It's
oh.
nonsense love.
That's not love. Love is when you have been married for a while
Yeah.
and you are choosing the person
Over.
Every day,
Yes.
you wake up in the morning and you say,
Do you know what it would take for her to choose me every day?
Yeah.
Because you're very annoying.
And for her, it might not be as much as for me because Timothy did it.
My brother,
I'm kind
Maybe
of
it's not
Maga.
focused.
He's not focused.
maga.
and I told her in the beginning because she was
just
sleep
throw it
shady. I'm
there
like,
now,
I
you
see
now
your
be-
future.
you
I
now
see your
can't
future.
focus.
Oma, sexy. Girl. And what are we talking about? Do you understand? But at the end of the day, it's me constantly showing compassion, and seeing the person. I'm seeing what she's evolving into, what she has evolved into, and what I'm also evolving into. Because everything that she's doing is also coming back to me.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Whosoever Ini is right now makes me look good outside.
it
That
does.
means people would think that guy is deep.
He's doing something.
It has to be
crown.
deep because
It's the crown.
we're having conversations about this thing and she's seeking counsel and I'm praying for her before she does stuff and go out there and she's posting and people are like,
So
Ilia
she's
Basio.
fine, she's intelligent,
Just-
she's this. How is this guy?
But she's
Some people ask me, who is your husband? And it's with pride. I remember going to go and share my story at a program. And I shared my story. Femi was, at the back. And people kept asking me, who's your husband? Your husband is he here? I said, yeah, he's at the back. Everyone.
they couldn't believe it.
Literally trying to give Femi like a standing ovation.
Yeah.
Because I was like assistant, I was
even
carrying
after-
bags, I was like normal, I was inconspicuous.
Even after the event, all the
They will
men in
meet
the
up, they'll go
room,
up to
especially
him.
the men in the room,
Because
they're going to like shake his hand.
It's
like,
quite
going to-
inspiring, I won't lie. I didn't know it was this deep. Honestly.
I'm a love girl. I like.
So
about that, babe.
so the thing for me is, I mean, your story is inspiring, and the way you handle things is it's commendable. It's exemplary. That's the word I'm looking for.
Because we had a guest that also mentioned to us today saying that be kind.
Be kind.
So when you just
Extend
said that, I was
grace
like, okay, there are
to
men
your
that are
partner,
kind.
because it's not really about. There was something you were saying before we came on, when you were talking about how our parents, at a point in time for them it was their career, it was making money, it was this, it was that, but now all that is gone. It's all about family. All these things that we strive for, all these ego that we are holding on our head, it will go.
Oh my lord!
It will get to a point in time where, I mean,
yeah.
one of the most profound things that ever happened to me in my life, I don't even know if I have to worry about this, was my dad was a lion. He was a powerful guy. He was an influential person. He was, and he got older and he got sick. And I was literally, it was just me and her and my kid, Temi. And then my mom and his wives, tell the truth, at that time, with him in the house, right? And watching him decline was one thing. But I remember that my dad was ill. He had surgery. My dad was a British citizen. My dad was someone who I can count the number of times my dad was in hospital in Nigeria. So he was ill, and there was a whole debate like, oh, should we fly him out? Should he be here? All that drama. And he my cousin, just like, hey, let's just do it. He's Nigerian.
Nothing
And he
major.
did surgery and everything. And, things did not go as planned, and they had to take him to Luth. And you know how Luth is, you get there, and then they'll say, oh, everybody has to go to A&E first. You paid this one, you do that one. And because of who he was, they even took him into the A&E. So at a point, I had to stay with him. My father was lying on a metal table in one corner. It's one sheet. on his body. And I was looking at him and I was like, this is the lion.
Jesus.
This is the man that shook. I remember that brigadiers used to come to my house when I was a kid to come and seek things from my father. And he was just there, naked, with one sheet on top of him. It's all these young intern doctors strolling around. One person would just go and look at him, poke him. My father, I looked at him, I was like, so what is this life about? Look at it, that's it there. So it's really great to see it's really great to see that you have perspective.
Yeah.
Both of you have perspective that these things, because I'm trying to think of, the whole situation where somebody moves into the house and you know that this
the
person,
backstory.
you know the whole backstory.
Yeah.
But you are man enough to move your ego aside.
Yeah.
And think about, okay, how is this going to affect
Affect
her?
her.
Not,
Oh my goodness.
this is what you have caused.
You have put it dirty.
you
You
understand what I
know,
mean?
like it could have
Yeah.
gone south.
That's huge. And
Yeah.
I
commend
celebrate
you.
you guys. For
So Ini, I know you're a sex therapist. Was it your situation that made you go into that to help people? And then, if yes, I recall you saying something about, okay, you showed him this process of how you'd like to have sex, and he says, well, I'm not comfortable with it, so you had to think of ways to spice up your intimacy in marriage. So what were the things you did to spice up, and then was this what led you to become a sex therapist? Like,
I think it's also how would you advise couples to approach
yes,
that?
because yes,
I want something.
you don't
This
want,
other person doesn't want it. How do we
Meet in the middle.
reconcile? How do we make it work?
Work.
Okay, all right, thank you very much.
Sex therapy has
I kid. Okay, so first of all, becoming a sex therapist, let me start from there. God called me to this business because I really like sex. I really liked sex, especially let me start from this. God doesn't waste anything. He doesn't waste anything. And I really believe that God saw that, okay, this desire in this girl, so let me take it. Okay, I'm going to take it. And I'll take it and use it for good. And how I became a sex therapist was just, it started from this vulnerability and being open. And so it was random. So I could be in a place and God will highlight something to me and say, go and ask him about his sex life. And I'm just like, this is, you said? You know, and the truth is, every time I didn't go, the person would come to meet me. You know, whether they knew me or not, you know, and they just come and like vomit. Tell me, hi, I know you don't know me, but I just want to talk, you know. And he's like, you know, mama is always to the mountain. And I just stand there. A lot of times I won't have anything to say. And they just, you know, just pour. And then when it's like, some people come upon them, they talk to me and they just walk away. And I'm standing there knowing so much about this person. I have no like, okay, so now that I know, what do I do with this? Like, what do I do? There have been pivotal times where I remember going to see my sister at some point in her estate, and we were going to go and pick up my nephew from school. And so my sister says to me, I walk in the gate and she's like, oh, just wait at the gate for me. I'm coming. I'm already driving out. I'm like, okay. So I'm standing there and this lady whose home is near the gates comes out of her house. And I was like, go and ask her. I'm like, God, please. I just came here to
pick my nephew.
I don't want any problem. This is even my sister's estate. It's like, you know, the feeling is so strong. It's so urgent. This lady goes in her house, comes back, she's standing. So I go, you know, I'm like, sorry, excuse me. And, you know, it's always so awkward because how do you say it now? It's not awkward for me now.
Yeah, but then.
Because I was even going to ask you guys, how's sex? You know, it's me. Hi, hello, how you doing? How's sex? Especially if you're married. So I'm like, oh, hi, hello. God, I'm so sorry, but you know, I'm standing over here, and then God asked me to ask you about your sex life. She just starts bawling, you know, telling me how she was on her way to go and see, you know, a man who's not her husband. It's a whole thing, you know. She's telling me about the whole ordeal, and she's just like, thank you so much. And she goes back into her house. You know, I'm just standing there, just nodding my head. There are times when God actually tells me what to say. So this happens. So I say, okay, so if we're gonna do this, Yeah.
We
might
need to
as
put some kind of structure around it.
Might as
you
well.
know?
Let's get into it. Like, okay, fine. So I literally I'm going to the supermarket. I'm asking God, who do you want to highlight to me today? You know, who do I talk to today? Who's coming to me today? So I'm open, I'm available, and then it now moves on to even people I'm familiar with, my friends. And I didn't even know people even have. I do. The truth is, because I have been so involved in sex,
You just
getting married, I
assumed
just assume that sex is
everyone
good
would.
for everybody. I know that yes, sex is not really good per se, but it can't be that bad. So now, then God asked me to actually study to become a sex therapist, and I also have dreams that that's how I become one. Now, how did I eventually spice things up in my marriage? Um, I realized that the desire to watch porn and the desire to even spice things up in my sex life was stemmed from a place of discontentment, also stemmed from a place of perversion, where I felt like there were things that I thought that I knew that had to happen. Now, I now learned, because everything I know about sex, I'm not going to lie to you, God taught me.
Okay.
Because I had to relearn a lot of things. I had to drop a lot of things
Things
as
that
well.
you
Remember, I was out in the streets. Yeah, so I had to drop those
All of
things
that.
in the streets. Now, God also taught me that it's not every fantasy you have that should actually come to manifest in real life. Because the truth is, a lot of the things that you think you want are influenced by things you've seen, things you've heard, things you've watched, things conversations you've had. And so you have to put you have to also put a microscope on those things and figure out, is this good? Is this really what I want? Or is this just something I'm curious about? Okay. Now, but then I really did want to spice up my sex life because you can't take away the fact that I'm going to be realistic with you that I had sex and I had good sex when I was out in the streets. And so I know when it's like, okay, fine, this is, bro, you're giving me the barest minimum here, and I'm struggling not to compare and not to think about where I'm coming from. So what do? I have to help him. I have to also get to know him and help him get to know me. And then we have to explore. Let's try it out. We're not trying out anything based on what we've watched. Let's just try out stuff. Let's be creative.
And let's see what
And let's see what works for us. Let's see how this goes. Let's try if we go slowly, if we go fast, if you try different positions, I was taught, that there's a particular position you have to have an orgasm. The truth is, while that could be true, is only 40% true because positions and orgasms are dependent on not just positions, but positions of thrusts, positions of the cervix, positions of the G spots, and all of that. And so it may not be the position per se that will get you an orgasm. It might just be the angle that position gives you. So is it possible you could achieve that angle from another position as well? Very much so, but you're never going to know if you're only trying missionary. Because God did not create sex
To
for
be
just
missionary.
No. And the truth is, when you have, you must also understand that, again, the concept of spicing up your sex life, the idea came from, I'm going to explain this two ways. The idea is actually that sex could be better. Okay, sex could be better, and just like wine, it evolves and it gets better and better. Scripture even says it. The path of the righteous and the just shines brighter.
Gang, gang.
The path. It's a pathway. Okay, to realms. It's a pathway to deeper realms.
Yeah.
And so, but the idea now that is the
Misconception.
misconception is that in order for you to spice up your sex life, there are things that you have to do, things you have to watch, but that's not the case.
Things you have to buy.
Things you have, yeah. But here's the thing, though. When I sit in sex ed and sex therapy with people, I tell them, look, listen, have these conversations.
Yes.
Because the problem that is affecting sex now, the major problem is religion. Okay? Religion, and then right next to it is culture, so societal norms, and then after that, ego, because you are, because you've had sex with multiple people and it's been good, and it doesn't mean that when you have sex with this one person you're married to that you're going to be good, because this is a completely different person. Okay, it's a completely different body type and with a completely different perception to life. and this person. So you literally have to get to know
The
this
person.
person and have conversations with this person, explore, do foreplay, seduce, be creative. If you need to buy sex toys, buy sex toys. But I always say, be careful.
Don't go down that
Anything
road.
that
It's
will
gonna
take you,
replace.
anything that's going to replace your partner, don't do it.
Yeah.
Because sex is selfless. And it's between two people. If you're going to have sex and you don't need the other person, it's not sex.
Yeah.
Because you must understand that sex is worship. It's an act of worship. And it involves two people. When you worship God, it's you and God. And so when it's you and your husband, you and your wife, it's you and your wife, you and your husband. Anything that's added to that mix should enhance, not replace.
Please.
And even in your enhancement, be careful. Anything that is not consensual, don't do it. Anything that's going to make you both uncomfortable, even if it's seemingly good and innocent, if you both, either one of you is not comfortable, drop it. Anything that's going to take you away from God, drop it. And the thing is that, God, I always like to say God is funny, okay? Some things that you guys could do sexually will be okay for you, and God will not have a problem with it. We would try, and God says, So you must also be sensitive. I just tell people, people don't think you can talk to God about your sex life. You can, very much so. God is right there looking at you. He's actually, when you do it right, he's clapping for you. Say, yes, that's my son.
That's my son.
I say, I'm proud of you, girl. Proud, So yeah. So in spicing up your sex life, I would say, if you need to see a sex therapist, I actually believe that couples should see sex therapists every now and again. Not because you have challenges. Don't wait till you have challenges. Just sit down and talk. A lot of times, sometimes, when you may not even, a third party just helps,
Yes.
to give you a fresh perspective, a different outlook on what you guys are doing. And sex is also in phases, and that's how you even know you need to spice it up. Because sex is, you start off, when you get married, you start having sex, you're in the healing phase, because you have to merge. You have to merge two different perspectives on sex, two different experiences. If you've not had experience before, you're just two different people who've grown up with two different complete lives or whatever, and you have to merge. And so you're trying to find your footing. It's like a dance. So you're just you're trying to find it. So it's the healing phase, and then after that, you get comfortable. And then after that, you're having sex like bunny rabbits, like everywhere, in the kitchen, in the car, come to my office. It's crazy. And then after that, there's like a lull where you get comfortable to the point where it's like routine. So just turn now. Or you want to have sex, the one that the men do, I call it the butt rub. You now don't seduce your wife anymore. You don't put in effort. You just rub her bum bum. And then she knows that, okay, by the time
It's
she comes
time.
back, or
It's
even you,
time.
the woman, you don't make any effort. You go to sleep in one jalamia, and then you just shift back, just scoot your bum. And then he just, they always say men are ready to go. Once the guy feels your bum, he feels your tush, he's ready. So you're not making any efforts. You're just there, Listen, God is not proud of that, okay? He's not. You guys need to do more. Because you need to, this is it. You have to put in effort. It's intentionality. You have to, if before you even get to the point, say you want to spice up your marriage, hello, have you begun to court each other again? Are you guys even forming the bond of intimacy? Are you guys even being intentional about impressing each other? Did you have your bath when you woke up in the morning? You're just moving about the house like a bum, and just then when you want to have sex, you just appear and you just believe that all is well. Make the effort, have your bath, brush your teeth, spray some cologne. Even if you're not going anywhere, do up your hair, even if you don't have a wig. Put some edge control, or at least tie a scarf. Let the scarf be sexy. It doesn't have to come all the way to your eyebrows. Like, let some edges show. And if the edges don't show, you don't have edges, it's okay. Just make it nice. Create a bow, and if, you may just go the long haul and just go braid your hair or cut it, to a nice style. Just make and then look nice at home as well. Like, I used to think that, the age of, women tying rapper is gone with that. Still is raining now.
Rapper and hairnet.
You need to, leave those things by the door, just, or tie it in a little, just get a really nice bag, and tie it there and throw it in the trash. Don't,
Amen.
yeah.
Sister.
You thought she was going to say something?
Preach.
Get some sets, and you know it's not even expensive.
Look for the nice ones. The ones
Get
that at
some
least have
sets.
some
Yeah, you don't have to be.
sexiness.
Or you know what? Just
Not
wear his
just-
t-shirt. Wear his t-shirt and some short shorts. Listen, tie a bandana. You're good. Put on some lip gloss. Put on some
Praise
you
volume,
know
praise-
some
Turn up volume,
studs.
turn up volume.
The earrings don't even have to be expensive. Put on some studs. You know, just look nice. You know, I spray. Look, listen. There's nothing. Perfume makes the world go around. Just
What-
put
what-
some body spray on. You know, sometimes you
That's
don't even
word.
have to put body spray. Put deodorant on.
Deodorant, at least. At
Can
the
you,
very
can you
least.
can you be fair?
Even
Can you
though-
be kind and
Be
compassionate?
kind too.
Yes.
Just open armpit.
Can you do all of that? You know?
Be kind.
So I know that I don't want to take you back to the whole porn thing, but there's something really delicate about it. Maybe because also I dealt with it. I want to just figure out if I was on the right track. Now, pornography, in as much as you say you're not addicted to it, it stays in the mind.
What you want, and
It
it's just
sticks.
imprinted. It takes
How
a really long
did you
time for
get
it to
it
get out.
out of your head? Because I know that in conversations with people that you feel safe talking to, I've had conversations where they say, if I don't play those images in my head, I can't be present while I'm having sex. Yes, because
Wow.
that's the only way you can orgasm. So when you've hid it so much that
Wow.
It has just become
it's
second
imprinted.
nature.
So anything that happens, even during foreplay, whatever, that's what helps you in your mind. Your partner is not aware of it, but it's ongoing. You understand? So you might not be watching it recently, but whatever it is that you have watched stays in here. And how do you get it out?
Thank you very much. So, so you see, sin thrives in secrecy.
Yes.
Anything you don't let out is gonna be your master. It's gonna keep haunting you. So the same way you got it in, the same way you get it out. You have to. I need to understand that. Wait, no, I need to explain that. The same way you got it in, the same way you get it out. What I mean is the way you've been watching it, and that's how it got in. You have to let it out. You have to speak it out. That's one. You have to open up to somebody about it. I would always advise tell your spouse. But then I also like to talk to the spouses and say you have to be ready for what your spouse is going to tell you. You have to understand that it's not about you. Okay, remove yourself from the equation. Like your
Take
ego,
ego
throw
away.
it away. It's not about you. It's about you need to understand that this is way more. Everyone who think that watching porn is just watching porn is way more spiritual than we know.
You think, yeah.
There's spirits attached to pornography. And the reason why they stay is because you must understand first and foremost that the devil is not happy with marriage. And so anything and any way he can get his foot in the door, he will do so. And he will do so spiritually as well. So now that's 1, 2. You must understand that practice makes perfect. And life and death, the power of life and death is in the tongue. The more you say it, the more you think it. A lot of times we do the devil's work for him. The more you say it, I can't have sex without these images. Be evil is
that's-
it's
It
going
will
to
become
be.
your reality.
Yeah.
So you must profess, you must speak out, and then you must replace. There's something I do in therapy called transplanting. You go back. What is haunting you? What is disturbing you? What is ailing you? You have to trace it to the root. Where did it start? Go there, switch it off. Now it's very much a spiritual experience, but it's something that you have to do. Now, the reason why speaking out and let me finish with transplanting. So you must go and take this thing that you've put in. Now that you want to stop watching porn, what are you going to replace it with? What do you replace it with? Now, in my case, what happened was after I opened up to my husband and told him that, this was my challenge and this was what I was going through, we did 2 things. One, we prayed and we broke the bond via prayer of agreement. We broke it because it's a soul tie that has happened. So you have to break it off. And the truth is, you don't have to do the whole fasting and prayer. If God leads you to do that, please go ahead and do it. Do it by, based on instruction, by leading of the Holy Spirit. But the truth is, whatever you bind on earth is bound in heaven. You have that power and authority to do so. You have the power and authority to judge the earth. So you judge that spirit, you break the bond, you let loose. Now, what happens is the devil tries to keep you in a loop. It tries to keep you in a loop of fear. And so it is that fear that actually takes you back, the fear. But you have to replace it with discipline and self-control. and you also have to replace it with accountability. And so when you feel like watching porn, you talk. I tell my husband, I actually honestly feel I watched porn today. I did watch porn today. You talk. You see that the more you speak up, the more you confess, the less that you'll be able to. The more this person is aware, because your spirit, your whole being knows that this person is aware, the less the allure is. But the allure is only strong because you're doing it in secret. Nobody knows. It's exciting. Okay, it's exciting, yeah. And so, and then also the second thing we did was we now began to talk about our sex life. So what needs to be done? What are you lacking? What exactly do you need? In having those conversations, and then it's not just about the conversations, you move on to actually
Actions.
have sex. And you're not just having sex because, oh, you want to break the bond of sex. No, you're having sex because there is you watching porn means that there is a lack somewhere. You need to find it
And fill
and
it.
fill it up.
Yeah.
Because
something.
because listen, don't mess with the devil, okay? Don't think, even Jesus said it. You cast out a spirit, it goes, it comes back, sees an empty house. It's gonna
It
go
will
and
come
go and
in.
call 7 stronger
Ones.
ones, and they will come and occupy. So this place, your mind must be filled. And so you have conversations, you find out what is lacking. This is what I need. This is how I'm feeling. I feel like, this and that. After you have the conversations, progress. Don't just, it's just not just, it's
It's
talk
not just
and
words,
do.
action.
Have sex.
So, sorry. So, for the question she asked and what you said, so just an example. So, if, for example, what she said about there's something that plays in your head, you've traced it to the root, you've removed that, you've placed it with
Something
maybe
else, yeah.
something that has to do with
Conversation,
or that has to do with your spouse or whatever, and then something as minor as keeping your eyes open during sex. So if, for example, you know that closing your eyes helps you visualize, keeping your eyes open
okay.
will
Make you
not, I mean, you can't be staring at, you can, but it's, if your eyes have something to do, at
At
least
the
it
time.
occupies, I don't know, that's just a thought that I had.
Yeah, but you see, it also begs the question. So, what exactly do you do during when you're having sex?
Okay.
What do you do with your eyes, your hands, your mouth?
You're
You
just
should.
staring.
The truth is that sex is an immersive experience.
passive.
All of you, don't be passive.
Yeah, you
know,
have to be
it's
in
the
the
reason
moment.
when
Yeah.
people say when I'm having sex, you have time to start thinking about laundry and things you've not done. You are
You're
not
not
fully.
having-
You're not
there.
there.
You're not there.
Okay, it's not you. Your body is there. Your mind is not. It's not there. You need to eat. Sex is an immersive experience. And I would say this again: if you're having sex and you have time to think about something else, you people are not doing something right. Either of you,
And you need
and it's
to
not just
figure it
on
out.
one person.
Yeah.
It's not just on one person. It's the both of you. You need to sit down and you need to see a therapist, or you need to see a counselor or something. I would advise seeing a sex therapist, because the truth is a sex therapist will be able to get to the nitty-gritty of what exactly is wrong. And people don't know, but sex therapy is mental health therapy, because
Yes.
you sit down, for you to be able to tackle the issues that sex entails, you have to deal with your mind, your spirit, and your body. You have to deal with so much. So yeah, I hope I was able to answer that.
So now,
Sorry?
you've shared your experience, you've shared the trauma, the baggage, and all of that. Now, someone out there watching this and listening to your story might have gone through the same ordeal, maybe not too similar, but closely similar, and might not have the happy ending that you have. You have beautiful kids, you have a loving husband that is out of this world, and you've been able to pick yourself up and, be this great woman that you are. What encouragement or what word could you give that person to be able to go through that, knowing that there's hope for a happy ending?
So don't look for a happy ending.
Okay.
Okay. Don't even try and look for what I have. Look for God.
Wow.
It is not going through an ordeal like this. To be honest, the testimony is not that I have a husband who's almost perfect, because he's not. He's really annoying. And the testimony is not even that, the testimony is this, that God was looking for me, okay? And I'm going to explain, if it's like an ordeal for somebody else. But the testimony for me is, for me to explain is I have to share the very beginning of this story, the very beginning of this story, is the day of my sister's birthday. Before I got to the restaurant, I was at my office. It wasn't too far. And that's why I had my office pass, remember?
Yes.
I was at my office and I was waiting for everyone to come to VI. And I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw a post of Heather Love. You know Heather Love? Heather Lindsay. Okay. So at the time, she wasn't even living in Atlanta, but she went to Atlanta to preach. And she was standing on a podium with her arms stretched and she was worshiping God, you know, just in a, like, probably, it was just a picture. And I said to God, God, I love to sing, I love to worship, you know, and I really want to do this for you, like go around the world, you know, share about you, but I just don't want to do it because I can't sing. And if I were to go around the world for you, what would I say? You know, I said, God, please give me a story. So this was the very day, that night I was kidnapped and raped. Now, in Isaiah chapter, we have to look it up. Isaiah chapter, it's somewhere in Isaiah, okay? You can Google it. Where scripture says, the eyes of the Lord are roaming the earth to and fro, seeking
who can
who
show
will
himself.
go for us. God is always looking for one person.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, it may not be people, this is not the case for everyone who's been through trauma. Such as this. But for me, I'm going to tell you that this was it. God is always looking for one person who can be, you know, a form of Jesus Christ, who would be able to, who will go through this ordeal, come out on the other side and say, hey, come, this is where hope is.
Yes, yeah.
This is what the end can look like. This is where healing resides. Okay, and your life doesn't have to end in a terrible way. Your life will end with God, because the truth is, having Femi, having my kids, all of it is God. There's never a time that I look and I say, I don't deserve this man. Okay, I don't even. Sometimes I look at my kids, I'm just like, God, you know. But it is that I remember the day that God said to me, Ini, I want to honor you. I want to honor you because even you asking for a story was a choice. Okay? It was a choice. Now, if I had known that this was a story God was going to give me,
Probably want
You
to
guys are
ask.
saying, don't give me a story.
You know, no, let me just sing for you.
but you see, God is looking for people like me because of people who have ordeals. I'm not the first person to be raped or to be traumatized by abuse, and I have not been the last.
Yeah.
But God is looking for the one person who will stand as an epitome of grace and say, look, this is how the story can end. And so I would say again, don't look for a happy ending. Don't look for a husband. You have no business even looking for a husband yet. Find God. Because when I was healing, Femi was only a part of my healing story. When I was healing, I was so desperate looking for God because I tried everything. I knew that if I didn't find God, I was going to die. I knew it. I knew that if I did, the way I was going, if I didn't find God, I was going to die. I was so sure. And I became so desperate. I was looking for God. I was looking for him. And everywhere I heard about God, I would be there. Of course, now you know how you have the spirit of discernment. But before, if I heard that two people were meeting up somewhere and you're talking about God or you're just in worship, I would just, you would just open your eyes and see that there's someone that has joined us. It's me. I'm the one. I was so desperate. I was reading scripture, just looking for God in everything and anything. And I did find him. There's this song that says, and I am desperate. It was my battle song because I was dead, because I realized that if I didn't fill myself up with God, nothing else could fill me. I tried everything. There was this emptiness I used to walk around with. Emptiness is painful. I was so empty, I was in pain. But when I needed God to fill me up, and he did. The Bible says God satisfies those who are hungry.
Yeah.
And he did.
Looking for God is pretty much the key, and that's wonderful. I honestly, that resonates so much. But there's also the possibility of these same people finding themselves stuck in toxic habits or attracted to toxic people
Relationships.
and being in these
A loop.
So how do they get out of that?
Oh, you have to. It's a decision you have to make, and it's not a decision. It's a decision you make over and over again. You have to get to a point where you're tired. Nobody can do it for you.
Yeah.
You have to be fed up. You have to get to a point where you want more. When you want different. When you get there, then you take steps to find different. You pull yourself out of circles. You pull yourself out of conversations. it's a conscious decision that you make. Yeah, I've had a lot of people sit with me in therapy and say that you're not ready. You just want somebody to pat you on the back and say it's
Don't
okay.
worry, it's okay.
You want me to
Just-
give you
you are
10
trying,
steps,
you are
10
trying.
steps to how to get out. No, you have to make up your mind. You have to be ready. Because that's what happened to me. I told you I was involved in a married man, but I got to a point where I remember the last time I had sex with him, I was so disgusted with myself. I just knew that this couldn't be my life. I had to, because the truth is, it was an addiction. He would call. This man would walk into a place and I could smell him, even without him. Even I don't have to turn my head. I just know he's there. So I was addicted. It was there. But it got to a point where I'd had enough. And the truth is, you don't have to get to a point where you're so full that you have enough. You have to make up your mind. You have to understand that there is different, there is better. You deserve better. You actually deserve a better life, not with somebody else. Because the truth is, before you go and join yourself with somebody else, you have to heal yourself.
you have to be.
But you just have to know that this toxic loop is not it. Again, finding God will do that to you.
Yeah.
When you find God, you understand that this is not the reason why Jesus died. It's not, you know. So yeah, make up your mind to get out of the loop. Get healing.
Yeah.
Get healing. You go for therapy if you can. Go for therapy. You need to heal, unpack the baggage.
Right.
You need to even find out how you even got there. A lot of times, you think it's the trauma that got you there, but I hate to break it to you, it's not really the trauma. It's just a series of decisions. And so you need to backstep or trace it.
Retrace your steps.
Retrace, thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. You need to retrace and find out, how did I get here? Because retracing the steps, in retracing, you would figure out how to get yourself out. And when you're retracing, you're actually pulling away. So pull yourself, block people if you need to, block them. And a lot of times, stop looking for closure. You don't need closure, you just need to heal. You don't need it.
Move on.
Yeah, you need to
Because you
move
hear that thing a
on.
lot. I need closure.
No, I want to tell them in my language. Copy no affair. You don't need, you don't need closure. You're deceiving yourself. You need to heal. You need to move on with your life. You need to change environments, move states if you have to. You're not running away. You're just being wise. Because what does the Bible say?
Flee.
Pack your slippers.
Flee, not
you
fight.
You get out of there.
Not
Because
seek closure.
my God, and I'm going to end it with this. My God used to say something to me, because he was also another one of my accountability partners who I eventually blocked for some time and I started lying to. But when I would go and tell him I had sex with this guy, he would ask me, you say, Ini, who is the man that runs away from the lion? And I was always so confused until one day he finally gave me the answer. He said, the man that runs away from the lion is the man who knows he cannot fight. When you think you have stamina, you think you have what it takes to fight the lion, you will be devoured over and over again. You must understand that lust is not something to be joked with.
Toxicity.
Yeah, that word. It's not something to be messed around
That's
with
something
as
you
well.
can fight.
Yeah, if you're going to fight it, you need to have some semblance of stamina. And for you to get stamina, you need to separate.
Yeah.
And for you to be able to do that, for you to go through this whole thought pattern, you need to be ready. You need no one can do it for you. No one can preach it to you. No one can advise you. No one can even give you 5 steps to get out of there. Your mind is way stronger than you think. It's way stronger. And once you make up your mind, once your self-will is sure, you can do anything. You can.
So this has been one of the most enlightening and interesting episodes or sessions. I don't even know what to call this one now.
Like
that
I think I got free therapy session.
that we've had
good.
on the podcast, and I really want to thank you guys for coming.
Thank you
eventually.
for having us.
Eventually, yes.
Looking at you, for also being
Vulnerable.
open, for being open, for being vulnerable enough to just share. And what you're doing, I mean, it's going to have so much, like the impact is more far-reaching than you know. And it's great to know that there are actually couples out there who are fighting the good fight, like, you know, and making sure that marriage stands a chance. And I really applaud you guys for it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And thank you guys for journeying with us on this series of episodes. We hope you learned a thing or two. We hope you got some help, you got some clarification. But as usual, if you have any questions, please feel free to send them in. You can send them to us directly, but you can also reach out to Ini. She's actually on
Very
Instagram.
active on
She's
Instagram.
quite active on social media,
Media,
actually.
actually.
Femi is also active on social media.
Their
so
handles
feel
will
free.
be on the
Yes,
on the screen.
on the screen. Just please reach out to them. Then as usual, please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment.
So
We love you guys.
on to the games. Hopefully I win. Bye guys.
Bye.
All right, guys. Welcome to our game challenge, and we want to have one with the layers.
We're gonna play concentration.
Yeah.
And in this version, we say a word, and then the next person has to say a word using the last
Letter in the first word.
Yeah. And
Okay.
yeah.
So let me start. Victory.
Yemen.
Nigeria.
Alpha.
Animal.
Honestly, I want to say Omega on your behalf.
I swear, that was what came to my mind. And I said, no, it's got your Omega.
Oh my goodness.
It wasn't for me. For me.
When I heard that one, I was
Bye. It was which was.
No, but I got it right. Animal.
My friend, you broke the flow. You broke the
Oh
flow.
my goodness.
Okay.
Omega.
You just started singing now. Okay. Okay.
I will store you. What do you mean?
Okay, so yes.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
Channel.
Lion.
Nigga.
Ratatouille.
Ratatouille, she said nigga, eh?
R. Nigga.
R.
It's R.
Okay, okay.
Ratatouille.
Y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all. Just
Wow.
Find out.
wow.
Only words that are family and marriage oriented.
A
Wow.
Wow.
What to be a champion?
Hey.
Wow,
Okay.
she's also evil.
Yes, she is. She honestly is.
Wow, I thought she was quiet.
No, she's not.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you good?
Okay.
Okay.
2, 1, fight!
Love.
Emotions.
Sanctity.
That's not fair. That's not fair. Which family oriented word starts with Y? It's not fair.
So
I should have said yes.
what she said? What she? What? Huh?
Yes.
But when she said emotions, I was like, I was going to say something with N, and I said no, it's S. It's S. What word?
Oh
I
my
can't remember. Then I remember she said sanctity of marriage. I said sanctity. Yeah.
Well, this is becoming very annoying. But then again, Rogba
Have you
wins.
never won?
Let's not
wow.
talk about it.
Wins
I'm
occasionally.
sorry. I'm sorry about that.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining us.
Thank
It was
you. Thank
so
you for
much
having us.
fun.
Thank you.
And like I said, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.
So we're going to do a
Concentration.
Concentration.
game.
Consecration.
Consecration. Oh, Jesus. Take it. Continue.
We're gonna play concentration.
Yeah.